So where did the name Patriot Gold Group come from? I love being a patriot
We
myself.
all do.
Well, we are patriots. My father served in the Korean War.
Hmm.
And as a matter of fact, just before we opened our company a little over 10 years ago, I returned back to New York to attend my niece's wedding. And she was marrying a uh, Army Ranger, this gentleman, Pat, whose father taught at West Point, his sister taught at West Point. He had served 3 tours, and I was a part of that wedding, and his whole wedding party was West Point grads and Army Rangers. And I thought
Nice.
to myself, now those are true patriots right there. Those are true patriots. And I thought, that's exactly what we want to exemplify as we are patriots protecting patriots.
I love that.
And
Beautiful.
that's how the name came up. Yep.
Okay.
Well, for a lot of our listeners, and we touched on it briefly last time we had you on the show, but it's a really interesting story on how you kind of made the move into gold. Uh, how long ago was that?
It was a little over 17 years ago.
Okay.
I had studied under William O'Neill, the single most successful investor in the history of the stock market, the founder of Investors Business Daily. I was then the director of sales and VP of algorithmic automated trading platform companies that traded the futures markets. But what happened was I saw in '08 with the subprime mortgage crisis, just a lot of the manipulation of the markets. When the Fed intervened, started printing money, lowering interest rates, I just saw that safe haven assets, physical gold and silver, were the only real true store of wealth. I mean, what's gone on since '08 is an absolute destruction of the US dollar. It's unreal what has happened to the US dollar. And now, since the Biden administration imposed sanctions on Russia back in 2022, it's on a global scale. What's happened with the weaponizing of the US dollar, the destruction of the US dollar. In fact, it was President Trump and even Tucker Carlson who both said that, it's the last war that we can afford to lose, that the US dollar just getting absolutely destroyed. And that's what's going on a global scale. The US dollar losing its dominance as the world's reserve currency.
And it seems like gold, gold continues to rise. And I think just since we last talked to you a month ago, it's up again. It's constant.
Well, and there's 2 reports that came out just this week that gold's historic rise is just beginning, because this is not speculative. This is structural. This is institutional. This is central banks globally. A report this week came out that China's gold purchases are likely 10 times higher, 10 times higher than the official 25 tons that was reported. So they're saying that China's gold holdings, because what's happened here is, back in 22, Russia started, they got kicked out of the SWIFT banking system. The Biden administration imposed sanctions, started seizing oligarchs' assets, their yachts, their mansions, their football clubs. And Saudi Arabia, Russia, China, Poland, Turkey, they all took notice and started moving out of dollar denominated assets and into physical gold.
Wow.
How about silver?
Silver too. Didn't Warren Buffett recently say? I could have sworn he's buying a ton of silver, or has as well.
Well, the CEO, Keith Neumeyer of First Majestic Silver, said when automakers like Tesla, like Elon Musk, start buying silver mines, we'll see silver at $125 an ounce, because the last 3 years, we run into 170 million ounce supply deficits each of the past 3 years. 170 million ounce supply deficits. And the new technology in solar panels, silver could be the next AI trade. I mean, we all hear about energy,
Yeah.
and silver is the best conductor of electricity. So silver could be that next AI play because it's all about infrastructure, it's all about energy, and you need a lot of silver for that.
You know, you protect your wealth, your retirement as you get older. You know, 50s and up, 60s for a lot of our listeners around the country. And I want to talk about the demand and why, you know, you're seeing a lot more people now investing in precious metals, and maybe not so much moving away from like other investments like the stock market or real estate, but certainly you're seeing more people do it.
Well, Wisdom Tree came out with a report last week. It used to be the 60-40 portfolio.
Okay.
60% stocks, 40% bonds. And they're saying now it's a 60-20-20 portfolio where 20% needs to be in real assets, needs to be in physical gold. Fundamentally, you have to understand, fundamentally, yeah, the global landscape monetarily has changed. And you do see people moving out of stocks. I mean, you look at what happened last week and the week before. The stock market was down nearly 1,000 points, then 600 points, then 800 points. The stock market is entirely dependent on two things right now. The investment into AI that has not produced any returns, right? No returns whatsoever. Trillions of dollars being invested in AI on this speculative return that we may see robots one day replace human beings, which would then adversely affect, keep in mind, our GDP, which would adversely affect our economy, would adversely affect our human contribution to the economy, Social Security, if robots were to replace humans in the workforce, of course. But the second thing is, so the stock market is trading on those two things. AI, the second thing being, whether or not the Feds are going to cut rates on December 10th. I mean, that's it. It was 2 weeks ago that 3 Fed members dissented and said that they would not support a rate cut of a quarter basis point. And the stock market absolutely tanked and lost almost 5% of its overall value. And most of those being those Magnificent Seven tech stocks. So, look, the thing is, you can go on this roller coaster with these precipitous drops and these highs and lows of the stock market and this speculative AI trade, or going to physical gold and silver that has nearly doubled the S&P over the last 25 years, by the way. So it's outperformed the S&P by double since 2000. And you don't have that roller coaster and that dependence on whether or not the Feds are going to cut rates, which is what the stock market's trading on. So it's crazy.
I saw that Bitcoin went way down as well.
Oh, talk about speculative,
Right.
wild rise. I mean, cryptocurrencies, look, and especially with AI, the further AI progresses, the more people say that OpenAI, ChatGPT, they could eventually go and just start replicating these Bitcoins, these, you own no more than a binary code.
Right. I'm curious, though, and talk to our listeners about the process. If they were to, let's say, call Patriot Gold Group, and they can at 888-520-6350, or go to the website, which is patriotgoldgroup.com. But, let's just say, here's the scenario. Someone brand new, they want to invest, but they're clueless, right? They have no idea how to do this or what to invest in when it comes to various precious metals. So when they're talking to one of your, experts, what's the process like?
Okay, well, I'll explain real quick. Back in 2023, we were saying you want to get into gold before it surpasses 2,000. Then in 2024, you want to get into gold before it surpasses 3,000.
Yeah.
Now it's over 4,000. And we're saying, look, you want to get in ahead of 2026 when it's going to hit 5,000. And that's according to Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, Bloomberg, Morgan Stanley, across the board,
Yeah.
$5,000 forecasts. So, on a cash trade, our minimum is 10,000, and on an IRA rollover, it's 25.
Okay.
So you just call that 800 number, you speak with one of our senior account executives, and they'll explain the simple cash process or the IRA rollover process. Simple cash, you and I discuss, hey, you're looking to work with 25 or 50,000.
Okay.
Now, back in 2023, when Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank, and First Republic Bank, when there was the regional banking crises and those banks collapsed,
Yeah.
our phones were ringing off the hook, and people were doing $250,000, $500,000 in physical gold back in 2023. Guess what? Their money has doubled.
Oh my God.
Doubled. By pulling it out of the bank and putting it into gold, their money is doubled. Now, we would discuss a dollar amount that you're comfortable working with, say 25,000. We write up a transaction, we do a recorded confirmation, you wire the funds, and then $25,000 of physical gold will arrive at your home in 7 to 10 business days.
Wow.
Shipped, registered, and insured, FedEx to your home. You're not responsible for a single thing until signed for by you.
Okay.
There's no more liquid asset in the world than physical gold. You can go anywhere in the world and exchange it for euros, yen, yuan, rubles,
Right.
anything, anywhere in the world. Now, if you have an IRA or a 401k that you're concerned about and you've been looking at the stock market, you call in, speak with one of our senior account executives. You can do a tax-free, penalty-free rollover where the funds stay in the IRA. So your funds roll over from an IRA into a self-directed IRA.
Oh.
And
Okay.
then you're able to purchase physical gold and silver in that IRA. Now,
Wow.
I'm not a certified financial investment advisor, nor do I give tax advice.
Yeah.
But you can roll that over. It's a tax-free, penalty-free rollover into a self-directed IRA backed by physical gold and silver.
Incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
You can put your silver and gold next to your gun collection.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Gotta love
Hey,
that.
again, look, in 2023, our phones were ringing off the hook.
Yeah.
People were concerned about banks. The FDIC only insures up to 250, right? We know that. So, and that's if they even insure it. I mean, let's say they claim to insure it up to 250.
Yeah, right.
But so people were taking $100 grand out, buying $100 grand of gold, and guess what? It's worth over $200,000 today.
Yeah, it's doubled. It's
In 2
absolutely
years.
amazing. If you wanted to throw out some advice to people, let's say right now, it's the end of November, holiday time, it's pretty smart to do it even before the new year, I got to assume.
No, that's the time to do it.
Right?
When everyone else is spending money on exorbitant travel, because look at airline tickets and look at hotels and look at holiday travel. Ask yourself 3 years ago
Right.
what holiday travel cost. It was about a third of what it costs today, right? Well, that's what's happening to your US dollar. So instead of spending money on holiday travel, spending your money frivolously, the smart money is buying physical gold and silver ahead of the new year. You want to buy it ahead of the new year. You want to buy it ahead of Q1, because if you look historically, January, February, and March, gold and silver have a tendency to go up about 30% in
Wow.
the first 3 months of the new year.
Wow.
So if you wait until January or February, you're just going to pay more. That's it.
Well, people can call toll free at 888-520-6350. Again, 888-520-6350, Patriot Gold Group. Or just visit the website, which is probably really easy, at patriotgoldgroup.com. And you heard it from your CEO of Patriot Gold Group there, Jack Hanney. Always a pleasure, man, talking to you. Looking forward to our next time. Enjoy the holiday, and we'll talk to you real soon.
You as well. Have a turducken.